Hey, this is LA from LA Show. Thank you so much for tuning back into another episode of LA Show's current events. Please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for more. Now let's get into these stories. Welcome back to LA Show's current events. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in with me. I want you guys to follow me on all of these social media sites that are listed in my description box. Also, check out the podcast that's also listed in the description box. And you can hear broader topics with less restrictions. You know how it goes on YouTube. But yes, let's get into these topics today and see what's going on around the world.
Let me tell you something. I am fired up when I read about the rise in domestic violence. What the hey? You better go somewhere and beat your meat. Don't be putting your hands on nobody.
I got an article here from Zora.medium.com. Domestic abuse victims are terrified of staying at home. This was posted on March 25th of 2020. As the seriousness of the CV pandemic has been realized, calls for Americans to practice social distancing and self-quarantine have increased. The long-lasting social and financial ramifications of these necessary precautions remain unclear. But for the 1 in 4 women and the 1 in 9 men who experience intimate partner violence, the consequences are immediate. Staying home means staying in an unsafe, potentially deadly environment. In the U.S., an act of domestic violence occurs every 15 seconds, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. 4 women lose their lives every day as a result. Black women in particular are at a higher risk of experiencing intimate partner violence. Black women are 2.5 times more likely to experience physical or sexual violence from a partner or a spouse, and 3 times more likely to die as a result. Domestic violence is among the leading causes of death for Black women ages 15 to 35. The minimal resources victims had prior to the onslaught of a global pandemic have now been limited in the name of public health. There are already reports of surging domestic violence cases in the midst of the pandemic. A key feature of the power and abuse dynamic is isolation. Katrina Anderson, PhD, a trauma specialist practicing in New York City, tells Zora. The abuser will work hard to isolate their partner from family, friends, and resources. To have this reinforced socially only compounds the danger survivors are facing. Anderson says that for many victims, going to work or having their partner go to work is often the only respite they have from the abuse. To have this break thwarted by work from home orders for themselves and their abuser, or worse, no work at all, leaves the survivor of partner violence more exposed to times of potential abuse, she says. While essentials like toilet paper, baby wipes, and food are flying off the shelves as a result of that fear, so are firearms. Larry Hyatt, who owns a gun store in North Carolina, told the New York Times firearm sales have increased 40% since late February, and he now sells more than 300 guns a week. We attribute it mainly to the virus scare, he said. When 1 in 3 female murder victims are killed by an intimate partner, and when having a firearm in the home increases the risk of an intimate partner homicide by 500%, an increase in firearm sales at this time when victims are stuck inside with their abusers is chilling, to say the very least. Abusers may not only violently act on their own fear, but use societal fear to control and manipulate their victims, keeping them from reaching out or visiting family members, going to the store for essential items, or even going outside for a walk, distorting the current facts or playing on the collective fear to make it difficult for the survivor to leave, even for a brief moment. Anderson says, an abusive relationship usually consists of layers of sophisticated emotional and sometimes physical abuse tactics that tear away at the survivor's self-esteem and decision-making abilities. Victims of abuse also face financial instability, many losing wages that would have made it more possible for them to leave their unsafe environment. Recently, the Trump administration warned of a future 20% unemployment rate as the result of CV and businesses shutting down, a hit to the economy that will be mostly felt by Black and brown women. Leaving an abusive situation usually correlates with access to resources, Anderson explains. One must have their own money and a safe place to go. Having finances burdened right now may make it impossible for some people to leave. If you're in an unsafe environment, Anderson suggests you create a safety plan. Know who you can call and where you can go if you need to escape or if things get really dangerous, she says. If possible, stay connected to the facts of the situation reported from reliable sources so your fear system does not get hijacked by your abuser. If you have a phone, try to stay in contact via text or talk with friends or family to keep them updated on your safety and needs. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is still taking calls if you need immediate help. I didn't read the whole article. However, I wanted to get to the gist of the situation and also provide a solution to anybody that may be going through domestic violence at this time. You can also reach out to me, and please feel free to reach out to the Domestic Violence Hotline. You don't have to go through any of this alone, and my prayers go out to anybody who is in a rough situation. This article comes from blackgirltragic.com. Brittany Irwin, Fayetteville Tech student and mother, shot dead in her home. This was posted on March 27th of 2020. Things were looking up for Brittany Irwin of Fayetteville, North Carolina. The young mother and Fayetteville Tech student had just finished her course requirements and was hopeful for a new beginning. She was getting her life together, doing what she got to do, her brother told a TV station. She got a job, she was going back to school, and doing what was right for her kids. Inside her home, Irwin's peace was shattered on Wednesday, March 25th of 2020, when the 26-year-old mother was shot to death, according to news reports. Irwin was gunned down execution style, while 4 other members of her family were inside the home, including her 2 small children. Tashawn Torre, the victim's brother, said this. Basically, her ex-boyfriend just came, and the boyfriend, Marshall Hollingsworth, and Irwin had become estranged over the last several months, and he allegedly threatened Irwin repeatedly in the days running up to the shooting, according to Torre. Hollingsworth is the father of Irwin's 1-year-old daughter, the TV station reports. The victim's 7-year-old son was the one who saw his mother fighting for her life on the floor. "Mommy, get up," the boy said, according to WRAL. He then ran to the side of his little sister to protect her. "It's going to be like traumatizing for him, you know, because that's his mama," Torre was quoted as saying. Fayetteville Tech President Dr. J. Larry King issued a statement on Irwin's death. "This is terrible news. Our deepest sympathies go out to Brittany Irwin's family and loved ones, especially her children, and also the faculty and classmates who shared time with her and enjoyed her company. Shortly after 9 last night, Brittany completed her online virtual course session with FTCC instructor Tanya Francis. In doing so, she earned the remainder of the 300 hours she needed to meet state licensure requirements to become a nail technician. Even as Brittany is mourned, we hope that she will also be celebrated for her life, her accomplishments, and her commitment to achieving this educational goal, which would have launched her into a new career. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family and loved ones." After the murder, the gunman took off running, Torre said. The shooter took off running, Irwin's brother said, adding that Hollingsworth had threatened his sister multiple times in the last week. Fayetteville police said he should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone who sees him is asked to call 911. So apparently Hollingsworth has yet to be captured, and that is just terrible. It really touched my heart hearing that she wanted to become a nail technician, because that's something that I also aspire to be as well. And just hearing that she went through the long courses and went through the whole course only to be shot and killed in her next step in life, that just totally breaks my heart. My condolences go out to her family and friends. Also, just think about her situation and let me know what you think down below. So I have another article here from KCTV5.com. KC woman charged in fatal shooting near KC police station. This was posted on March 27th of 2020. A Kansas City woman has been charged in connection with the fatal daytime shooting just outside Kansas City Police Department's Central Patrol in late February. 27-year-old Dashonia S. Diamond faces second-degree murder, unlawful use of a weapon, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and the misdemeanor count of failure to report a shooting. According to court records, officers responded to the Central Patrol Station on Linwood. The victim told officers responding to the shooting that Diamond shot him with a pink gun, and he described the vehicle she left the scene in. Video surveillance from a nearby business showed the victim and the defendant exiting the parking lot of Central Patrol when the victim was shot standing outside his vehicle. A witness told police that the victim and defendant met at the police parking lot to exchange children. After that occurred, the victim pulled his vehicle alongside the one that the defendant was in. He got out of the vehicle and the defendant soon fired a shot, witnesses said. After obtaining a search warrant, police found a pink and black gun at a Kansas City apartment associated with her. Text messages and a recorded conversation from the victim's phone revealed the defendant had earlier threatened to kill the victim. The defendant was recently taken into custody. Prosecutors requested a bond of $100,000 cash. So this article is highlighting a story of a male domestic violence incident, which not too many talk about. Apparently, they were meeting up for a custody exchange of their children that they had together, and Diamond felt the need to shoot at a car that her children had just got into to go see their daddy. Now, I don't know about bitter, but that sounds pretty bitter to me. I don't know the reason behind her shooting that man, but it just sounds like pure bitterness because of the custody exchange. I could be wrong. They could have been having long-standing issues. She could have been the victim of domestic violence. However, he was not engaging in anything violent with her at that moment for her to shoot him, especially not around her children. So that's a really, really bad and really, really dumb mistake on her end. Let me know what you guys think about this story down below.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on your notifications for more.